Magazine is an empowerment and lifestyle publication for
Miss LaRhonda Marie, you chose me.
Don't you count me out yet? I'm under construction. I'm a work in progress. I'm under construction. Don't you count me out yet? I'm under construction.
It's a family affair.
What's up, everybody? What's up? It's your girl, LaRhonda Marie, and I am excited, so excited. Thank you for joining me for season 3. Yes, Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. Season 3 of Under Construction with LaRhonda Marie. And so I really wanted to say, guys, thank you so much for the support over the last couple of seasons, and I hope I make you proud over this next season. And as always, you're my audience. You are just as important as my special guest today. So if you have any questions, feel free to just go into the comments. Apaul is here. He's ready to answer your questions, whatever questions you may have. While we got him on the hot seat, let's go ahead and get him. Let's go ahead and take in everything that he has to offer. I've been knowing this brother for years. I got a question for him that he ain't even ready for, I don't think. But we're gonna see how much he remembers about his history with LaRhonda Marie. But before I do that, I got some housekeeping items to do. Y'all know I am a correspondent for Swag Her Magazine. If you are a boss lady, if you are an entrepreneur, if you are a writer, if you are a music artist, if you are just trying to get some more visibility in any kind of way, Swag Her Magazine is the best place to do that. They will help not only expand your visibility, but they will also help develop you in your career and give you different ways to expand your visibility and increase, hopefully, that money, right? So I'm gonna give you, let me step out for just a second and just give you a little bit more information on Swag Her Magazine, and I'll be right back.
Swag Her Magazine is an empowerment and lifestyle publication for Black women who like to be real with themselves and in business. The magazine also offers public relations services and visibility coaching for Black women-led businesses, coaches, authors, and girl bosses so that they receive more exposure and grow their brands. To learn more about Swag Her Magazine, please visit www.swagher.net. That's www.swagher.net. Check our swag. We're more than a mag.
Hey, check our swag. We're more than a mag. So if you are, like I said, if you are a boss woman, go ahead and jog on over to swagher.com and check out the specials that we have going that can get you started. So again, it's season 3, and I'm starting with a doozer here. Okay, we haven't seen this brother in a minute. Okay, I met this guy about 13, 14 years ago. And we ended up doing a track together, and he ended up being a mentor for me when I was starting off, when I started doing music. So I am excited to introduce to some, and I guess reintroduce to others, most of us, Mr. Apaul. I call him Big Brother Almighty. That's been my nickname for him. I'm probably the only one that calls him that, but he knows why, because he's special and dear to my heart. So Apaul, come on. And I'm doing something I haven't done in a while, y'all. He's in studio. He done came to the studio.
Yes,
What's up, Apaul?
What's going on? Give me some love. What's up? Yes.
Good to see you.
Appreciate you.
Looking good. All glammed up and stuff. He looking like Apaul. Apaul, go ahead and tell the people who you are. And y'all, I have put his information. So after this conversation, if you want to get at him and see any of his anything that he has out, his music, his films, his little skits, go ahead and take that information down below. That has all his social media. Go ahead.
I am Apaul Da Head Turnah, formerly known as Apaul Soul. Originally born and raised out of Chicago, Illinois, South Side. Jeffrey Manor. Shout out to all my peoples out there. Former street guy, associated with some unfortunate peoples back in my day, but eventually some things occurred in my life that caused a change that sent me a different direction. And that eventually led me to Oklahoma City, and that eventually led me to music and producing some other things. So those are my small origins. There's many different dynamics of me. Maybe we'll tap into those different things today. So I do appreciate you for opening up your platform, and thank you very much for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you. You know, I've always been. I have a quick question. I wanted to know. Do you remember our very first conversation, how we very first met?
I
think you're thinking one way and it's going to be something totally different, but go ahead.
Okay.
Do you think?
Okay.
Do you remember?
Okay. No. I'm gonna say no because I want her to tell me. So I ain't sitting here trying to figure it out for about 5 or 10 minutes.
It had nothing to do with music.
Really?
No.
Okay.
I met Apaul. Guys, my son was, I think, 8 at the time, and he had made some charges on a phone bill. You know, those little, not phone bill, I'm sorry, Cox cable bill.
Oh.
On Cox cable. And so I'm calling into Cox cable, and I'm telling this man right here, I didn't charge these. I don't know where these come from. And he's like, ma'am, this is where, it's at your local. These are the charges. So that's when I found out my son, I was supposed to have a picture pull up on it. He's 28 now.
I remember that.
I remember that. But that's how we first met. That's how we first met. And then when I finally met you up close and personal at a music event, I was like,
yeah.
that's the customer service dude. And you was trying to tell me about your music when you was on the phone with me. That's how I remembered. That's how I put it together. I was like, wait a minute, that's the Cox cable dude. So way back then, even on his secular job, he was still trying to push his music.
You know,
one thing about Apaul, he hustled. And what I loved about you is, LaRhonda, if you need me, I'm gonna tell you how much it costs, how much time I need there. He was always just real upfront with it. Whereas other people, you know, you don't know that they want to be paid until later on, and then they got a whole attitude when you're not prepared for it. Where he would be like, okay, it's $50-$60 right here for this, $40 for this, $120 for this. You know. So I appreciate that because I was getting into the music business real early, so I kind of knew from my dealings with you that you just can't think people are going to do things for free.
This is true.
And between you and Rosie, y'all, and Rosie was my cousin, and he still was like, pay me if you're trying to play me.
Indeed.
And I get that because now as an artist, I say former artist, because you put so much money and time into everything.
Indeed.
Let's start with the beginning. You were known as Apaul Soul of Supertropolis. Mm-hmm. Tell me about the origin of that.
Supertropolis. So Supertropolis, it started out as a joke. It actually started completely out as a joke. I was living in Detroit at the time. I had got to Detroit from getting out of a facility in Chicago for doing something I should have been doing.
Red Print is on here. Say what's up. Red Print just came.
What's going on? What's going on, my dude? So I had moved to Detroit. I didn't have a place to stay at the time, and moved out to Detroit with some relatives, cousins, uncles. We were freestyling one day, and we were just making up these crazy words: bubble bathing league, Cadillacing league. We were just making up all this stuff. And as we were joking around, my brain is always thinking. So I just got to seeing different stuff like through my head, right?
Uh-huh.
And what came to me was, this is if you and your cousin rap together, that's merging Detroit and Chicago. Mm-hmm. So that was how I seen it in my head, right? So I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So then I was thinking to myself, like taking it a step further. I'm like, man, what if the rappers in Chicago was the hookup with the rappers in Detroit? And instead of being Chicago and Detroit, what if it was just one big city that had a name nobody knew about, like a code between the two cities. When you went from Detroit to Chicago, you hooked up with these guys, it was good. So I saw this two cities merging, and I'm like, that would be like a metropolis. You know what I'm saying? Detroit plus Chicago, right? But I'm like, that's bigger than a metropolis. So what can I call it? Supertropolis. So I called it Supertropolis, which was eventually, initially the merger of Detroit rappers and Chicago rappers. And I was started out with me and my cousin Showtime. Shout out to my cousin Showtime in Detroit right now. And my cousin Mark D actually was in it as well. But yeah, that's how Supertropolis started as a joke. And it eventually turned into something that I had no clue that it would eventually become.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Y'all listen to a little bit of.
What I choose to do was to run from you. Thought my love was true, but my life was wrong. What you want from me is to be strong. So I wanna know, till I know enough that I'm over.
His harmony is always crazy.
Thank you.
Crazy arrangements.
Thank you.
Okay, so as a rapper, what made you decide to do Christian rap instead of secular?
What made me do Christian rap? All right, so this goes back to around the 2000, 2001, 2002 time frame. I originally moved to Oklahoma in 1998. I got here the night that Jordan hit the sixth ring. The night that he won the sixth ring, I got here that night. I made it by the fourth quarter. So it's 98, 99, 2000. And when I came from Detroit, I wasn't Christian or nothing like that at the time. You know what I'm saying? I was doing my thing, but I knew when I came here, my mother was a pastor.
Oh.
And I knew I wasn't going to be able to act the fool. I wasn't going to be able to act the fool around my mama. So I'm like, man, I might have to change somewhat. So I started going to church. And what I noticed going to church, I'm like, man, these songs. I'm like, man, this, Kirk Franklin had just hit at the time. Mary was just starting. Like, I think Shackles hadn't even came out yet, right? So the church was very old and traditional.
Right.
And I kept going like, dude, I need to listen to something. That was what I told myself. I said, I want to be able to bump something that don't sound like, oh, sorry, So I said, even if I was gonna listen to it myself, I wanted to hear it. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I was kind of fooling with a singing group at the time. We sounded horrible. Name was the Brothers. I'll never come back. We sounded horrible. And so I was like, man, maybe I can twist something with this singing thing and go into the rap direction. So it started out with me just it was limited for Christian hip hop at the time. I think Gospel Gangsters was out, T-Bone was out. Shout out to Gospel Gangsters, very good dude. I've done a couple of interviews with him, very good brother. And the only other people that was out besides T-Bone and Gospel Gangsters in Oklahoma, you had MC1, who's the DJ for the Oklahoma City Thunder right now, and Little Mike and Funny Bone were kind of out at the time. They've been about for years. So shout out to them and their new show on
forgot about them.
Yes. So they've been out for a while, and some of my earlier photos you'll see with them. Right. But that's what led to that. Just the it was a lack of hip hop music at the time in the church. And we fought. I mean, we'll get into it, but we fought because they hated us at first. Yeah. They hated us. So
what was in the way of Christian rap progressing during that time in Oklahoma, and what was working for Oklahoma Christian rap what was working for Oklahoma Christian rap during that time?
What was the problem with Christian hip hop rap? Surprisingly, jealousy. Jealousy. Straight up. Let's just keep it real. Jealousy, envy, pride, all of the stuff that they say you're not supposed to have as Christians. It was what I dealt with. Everyone wanted to be number one. Everybody wanted to be number one. And if they didn't agree with you being number one, they didn't want you in the number one spot. Right. So that's what I ended up facing. But it wasn't just me. It was with each other. Yeah. Just crabs in the barrel mentality. That's been very big in the city of Oklahoma. Right. Oklahoma, on the Christian side and the secular side.
I'll be honest. When I first came aboard, that was the most disheartening part about it, because I was so excited. I think I had went to the Holy Hip Hop Summit concert the first year you had it, and it was at some huge place. Like
Only Hot Mania.
Yeah, that it was at some huge place one year, and the next year was like in Moore, Norman, or somewhere like that. But the first year, I was like, oh my God, this is what I've been missing in church. That like you said, hip hop, R&B, because it was different. It was just more a secular style of music, but putting Christian lyrics behind it.
Right.
And y'all was killing it. I wasn't a part of it that first year, but I want to say that is a lot of reason why I went ahead and started, because I finally found a genre that I could connect with, because I didn't necessarily want to be I was a pastor's kid. I didn't want to be a secular artist, but the holy hip hop scene was right where I wanted to be until I met the people in the scene. So I totally get where you're coming from. The jealousy.
Now, flip side, you asked what was working.
What was working
at the time as well. What was working at the time was when Oklahoma City united.
Yeah.
When Oklahoma City Christian Hip Hop Force came together, it was the biggest thing in the country, period. And you can quote me on that. Oklahoma City had the biggest Christian hip hop scene that there was in the country. And I'll validate why I say that. If you remember at the time, there was a #1 Christian rap group that was out a #1 Christian website, thesouth.com. It was ran by a guy named Trey 9. If you think about it, Trey 9 would eventually come to Oklahoma City to the Hip Hop Unity Conference that I threw, because we were the pinnacle of the unity. So when we came together, we was a force to be reckoned with. And I had been to Atlanta by this time. I'd been to Cali by this time. I'd been to Jersey by this time. I'd been to Ohio by this time. I had been to all of these different states and saw there was no force like Oklahoma City. So unity was our biggest strength, and it ended up being the biggest downfall.
Oh, wow.
In the end. So
that's what's crazy when it comes to church people, how we do that to ourselves. You were the backbone of the Christian hip hop scene, and once you left, everything kind of died down. Did you notice?
Honestly, yes, I did. Yes, I noticed. I did notice.
I was affected so much because I came right when you did that first year, that, like I said before, and then the second year you did it, and it seemed like you just kind of went away. But the only way we would have things to do was if Apaul put something on. You know, if Apaul was putting it together. And so when Apaul kind of tiptoed away, it was noticeable to quite a few. How many of those people reached out to you and said something to you like, bro, where you at? Bro, we need you, bro. Did you get that type of support?
No, not at all. When I left, not one artist that I can recall reached out to me, which was very shocking. And when that occurred, I was under the impression that maybe they had it figured out. Because if you got something figured out already, you don't care who leaves. But if somebody leave and you just don't say nothing, I was very shocked. Seeing the fact that I had helped probably over 30 Christian hip hop artists in Oklahoma City. I'd helped artists out of the states as well, but no one reached out. It wasn't a, hey bro, where you going? And I thought, this is what I thought. I thought it would go one of two ways. I thought either a lot of people were going to reach out or nobody would reach out, which meant we're glad he's gone. So when that happened, I said, okay, they're glad I'm gone now. Now let me sit back and see what happens.
Nothing happened.
And after
everybody was just on their own and trying to get. I know the times that me and you would talk, and you said something like that. I had hoped that was different. That people had reached out more, because I know for me, like I said, you were like the godfather of. Seemed like you and I think Sherman was another dude that was doing some things back then.
Right. Now to add on to that, I'll go a step further. A lot of people don't know this. But in 2013, I had a serious motorcycle wreck.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people probably don't know that. Some of y'all are hearing it for the first time. So I had a motorcycle wreck in 2013, flatlined me for 4 minutes.
What? Wow.
And after that occurred, I was in the hospital in Tulsa for about 30 days. And a lot changed for me, not just on the Christian side, but everything, including my personal life. During that time, no pastor that I'd ever performed for reached out for me. No artist that I had ever performed with or had reached out. I was in that hospital for over 30 days, and I got visited by my blood family one time during that entire time. So I was starting to see a lot of different things and people's perception of the love of Christ compared to actually living out the love of Christ. So a lot of things changed for me during that time. It wasn't just the artist, but yeah, blood family and things like that as well. It was just a very interesting time in my life, I think.
How did that affect your faith?
Well, I'll say this. My father and my mother were pastors. My dad, ever since I was born, that's all I remember. When he passed, when I was 15 years old, my mother took over the church all the way up until when she passed. And so I grew up with a very strong belief system of what would happen, what could happen when you reach death, things like that. When I flatlined for 4 minutes, it was not what I was told. It was. And I'll share it with you all real quick on what I experienced. And I had described this several times before anyone else. I'd ever heard anybody else describe this. I was trying to describe the best deal. So the best way I could describe what happened was it was almost as if you were laying on a bed flat. And underneath the bed, let's say there was nothing but a hole. And someone pulled the mattress from under you. It feels like the body just floats. So that's where I was. It was darkness. It wasn't light. I wasn't hungry. I wasn't worried. It was the most peace I'd ever had in my entire life. It made me totally unafraid of death now. Would I go back? In a heartbeat, period, point blank. And I'll give you just something to think about, because we always think of God in the form of light and all of that, right? I was trying to figure out, why was I in darkness? Where was the light? But you got to think about something. God said, let there be. So if he had to say, let there be, maybe there was a chance he was dwelling in darkness at the time. Just something to think about. Proceed.
Preach. That's something to preach.
I'm just saying, something to think about. But that's the best way I can possibly describe it. Peaceful. I'm not afraid of it happening again. I don't want it to happen no time soon. I love all of y'all, but.
Well, I guess you probably already. My next one was what made you finally decide to walk away?
What made me? Oh, yeah. Here's the part. There's the part y'all waiting on. Let's go. What made Apaul walk away from hip hop at the pinnacle of my career? I was fresh off of, I'll give you the whole breakdown. I was fresh off not doing a group anymore. I had finally went solo for the first time in my career. It was when I went solo that I actually received the Holy Hip Hop Award in Atlanta. So I get the Holy Hip Hop Award in Atlanta. Christopher Play Martin from the group Kid and Play was the guy that presented the awards that year. I'm out here, I'm enjoying myself. I've seen every aspect of the music business, so I think. Until my guy Montana, who happened to be in the studio with us tonight, he's not on screen. My guy Montana, myself, we're in Atlanta, and we're having a couple of different business meetings with people in the Christian industry. What made me leave was when I found out that everything that I had worked for was fake.
What do you mean by that?
Now, let me tell you. At the time, Lecrae was out. He's still out right now. The Grammy Award-winning artist Lecrae. Lecrae at this time he wasn't as big as he was. Matter of fact, there was a guy named The Truth. The Truth was the biggest thing in Christian hip hop, right? But there was a time where The Truth, there were some things happened with him and Ty Tribbett's wife, right? And The Truth fell out of the top spot. Well, this meeting with the one I was in, because we were in two separate meetings, the meeting I was in was explaining how they were planning to move Lecrae into The Truth spot a year ahead of time. I was told how Lecrae was going to win a Grammy 2 years from then. I was told what his record sales were going to be 6 months before his album came out. How do y'all know all of this stuff? Come to find out that a lot of the funding and all of that, this was stuff that was just paid for. The people that was put in place was just selected by people with a lot of money. When I got to that point and I saw that this guy wasn't even writing his records, this guy's not even, some people wasn't even on their own songs. They were taking parts of your voice and adding words to it. It was all kinds of stuff we found out. When I seen that from my own eyes and figured it out, like I made it to that part where I could see, I was done. Because I personally have been working over 10 years writing, producing, and I mean, I was grinding, right? I'm doing all of this trying to figure out, well, I know Lecrae, like, I can call him on the phone right now. How is it we on just way different levels, right? But it was because they kind of handpick the people that's in certain places. So I encourage any local artist, don't be discouraged because you're not blowing up or you're not as big. The people that's in the top spots are influencers and they're paid to influence all of us through the record. So don't be discouraged. Keep going. I found out it was fake. That's what did it.
Oh, well, I knew it had to be something why they had a Lecrae at the top. I've been telling Nicole for years Lecrae is whack. I can't stand Lecrae. It's a couple of them that's whack.
Hey, don't call me crazy. Don't call me.
He's whack. So, I mean, back in the day when I used to listen to him, you know, back in those days when he would be at the Diamond Ballroom or somewhere I went to see him. He was just whack to me, but it's okay. If they want to buy him, they can. I just thought it was whack. Do you think Christian rappers feel like they have to be perfect?
Oh, yes. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Why? Y'all rapping about what y'all done did.
Okay. The reason that I think Christian rappers feel like they have to be perfect is because they're getting taught and preached that they need to be perfect. Because if it's taught that way, if it's preached that way by their pastors and stuff like that, then that's how they feel. When, another question, when did Jesus teach you to be perfect? When did he? Show it to me. Show it to me in the book where he said, be perfect, be perfect. He didn't. As a matter of fact, I'll leave you with this one. Even Jesus knew you could only stay in hell for 3 days. He was smart enough to know that, and he was supposed to be the most powerful of all, right? He stayed in 3 days and shook it. All right? So I'm just saying, it's more to a lot of this than we're...
I know the pressure behind feeling like you have to be perfect can be...
That's impossible.
It can be.
Jesus.
I never felt that way though. I never came across. I think because my music told my story, so y'all know I'm not perfect. So I done already told you I may cuss you out. I done already told you I done had premarital sex. You know what I'm saying? So if you got something to say, then just say it, and it's no judgment. But I think we deal with a lot of judgment though. I can remember going into churches and people looking at you like, what are you singing? Oh. And you walked up in here with this blonde hair. You walked up in here with these tight jeans on. But then by the end of it, once the anointing hits, it's all, everything is okay. But coming in, like you said, and you came in at the very beginning doing rap in a church. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was the devil. I was Lucifer. I was, what's Superman's villain name? I was him. I was all.
But it was crazy that you were so close to folks that are now mainstream, like Lecrae, and you decided to walk away because you just felt like it wasn't real, or you didn't feel like you could be the real person in all that. They wasn't gonna choose you because you were too real?
It
or
was.
what?
It wasn't that. I could have stepped into that spot. I really could have. I didn't feel good stepping into a spot that was fake because I'm not a fake dude.
Right.
So, oh yeah, well we can make you this and we can do this because keep in mind it was set up for me to keep going. If I wanted to keep going, I was ready to make it happen. I could call Canton Jones on the phone and say, "Yo, bro, I need this." I could call, "Yo, bro, I need this." I was set up in the industry to make the calls.
Remember that.
But yeah, but I just couldn't. I couldn't do it on a fake note. If I was going to get it, I was going to get it because I earned it. So that's always kind of been my thing. So.
And so now your rapping genre is just what? Because it's not Christian. It's just
I'm just an artist.
You're just an artist.
I'm just an artist. If I want to tell you about something on a bad energy side, I'll tell you that. If it's going at your good vibrations and your good frequencies, we'll go there. Now it's about sharing all of the experience.
Do you feel like being a Christian artist kind of puts you in a certain box, and now it's no longer you're no longer in that box?
Definitely. You as a Christian artist, you put in the box the moment they put Christian on you, because that says you can't talk about this, you can't say this, you can't say this. So it puts the rules and restrictions on you. So yeah.
If I have some artists out there, what do y'all think? Do y'all think that you're put in a box, or do you think you're open to do whatever you need to do? It's different for everybody. I personally, I thought I could do anything I wanted to do. Now, will they accept it?
Oh, no.
That's totally different. But when we do, it's art. It's what comes from my heart. Mine is Holy Spirit led. So whatever I'm gonna do, it's every time mine was Holy Spirit led. It wasn't from Rhonda. So I was always cool with my tracks. Now, when people hear them, I could remember a couple of times my parents listening to stuff and going, "What? Why did you say that?" Or why,
Yeah.
And you have people that kind of cringe because they don't want the truth out sometimes.
Of course.
And so, yeah, that can be hard. Well, when you returned back in 2019 to the scene, you were creating events. You had Kings and Queens event gathering, all the lady creatives in the city. What happened with that?
Oh, I apologize first to all of you that event got canceled. I apologize. What happened? That was my first stepping back out party. No one had seen me for years, knew what I was doing. I knew that coming off that way, that was going to tell people that I had changed a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Kings and queens, we started using those terms, God and goddesses, that more deals with the conscious community or the woke community, whatever the case might be.
Yeah, we thought you stopped believing in God.
Right.
He done lost his religion.
Right. Okay. So what happened? What basically happened was I had planned that event with another gentleman, a gentleman I had just met. He wasn't a Christian gentleman. This was my first event that I actually was doing outside of anything that I'd done Christian. It was just going to be a fun night. 90s clothed in, fun games. I had a comedian that was coming in. I was throwing it at a mini mansion. So everything was laid out. I started taking money, got tickets coming and all of that. It's about 2 weeks before the event. And I'm just trying to make sure my I's is dotted and my T's are crossed. So I get in touch with one of the people behind the venue. Hey, I just want to make sure everything good, blah, 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 blah. Because keep in mind, I had done an event there already privately. I just hadn't told anybody that I'd done something. So that's what made me cool throwing it at this mini mansion, right? I've done something here. I get in touch with the venue. Hey, what's going on? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, we don't know anything. What? I'm like, well, no, didn't someone get, the other person that was involved? They hadn't heard nothing. So I've got this whole event set up. I've got all of this stuff done. I'm listening to this person that I'm doing this event with, who's, I guess, just misinforming me, not being truthful with me. And so I ended up having to cancel it because the venue had no clue that we were doing it.
No space to
So with that being my first comeback, I'm like, dude, no. So you know what? Yeah. So I'm about to chill for a little bit. Now I'm gonna watch and see who's doing what and how.
Right.
Then if I'm gonna do something, I'll rethink everything. So that's what led to that. And I apologize for all of y'all that bought tickets because I refunded a lot. So
you went from Apaul of Supertropolis to Apaul Da Head Turnah. What did the name change mean to you?
Well, first it was hard, honestly. Apaul Soul was a brand.
Yeah.
and it was a brand that I had worked on for over 10 years. And it was a brand outside of Supertropolis. Like, people knew Apaul Soul just as the brand, right? So it was hard because I'm thinking like, okay, when you come back with Apaul Soul, you gather all of those people that remember that name, right? But by changing the name, you're making it hard on yourself, right? You're kind of starting back from the bottom, which is kind of what I did intentionally. Now, behind the actual name itself, the mini mansion, outside of that though, my grandmother, my biological grandmother, in Detroit, last name is Turner. She's passed on, rest her soul. And you know, when you young, you the kids, y'all the cousins, y'all the this, y'all the that, right? Well, I'm a little older now, so now we the uncles, we the this, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, I never really liked my last name. My real last name is Means. I never really liked it just because people always think I'm mean just because of the name, so they kind of treat me that as soon as they hear the name. So I'm like, legally, I've always wanted to change my name. I said if I ever changed it, it would either be Barksdale or Turner. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna use Apaul Turnah as my name. Now, as I'm sitting here thinking again, I go, man, when people hear this new music, their head gonna turn. They're gonna think like, yo, is that Apaul? Like, is this Apaul? Their head gonna turn, right? And then it just clicked. It popped right in my head. Apaul Da Head Turnah. I said, oh, what? I'm rolling with that. So,
It looks like you had something with, I used to call her Princess Ali. She's Lyric.
Yes, Lyric Ali.
And Lyric Ali, I seen
Just Another Day.
Yeah, I seen her cadences have gotten a whole lot better. It was good to hear her.
Oh yes.
Growth. But y'all listen.
Another day, just another day. Just another day, just another day. It's just another day.
I've been repping too long, I'm snatching up my props. Act like you know, Miss Lyric, keep it hot. I grind solo, but the goons grind a lot. Repping old city, pushing music in the lots. And I keep hyphy ciphers locked down at my spot. The dime rhyme spitter raised on the dime block. People change the game, all that drama had to stop. And I'm never acting bougie, all that bad blood is dropped. I be chilling with my girls, long day, 8 to 5. Meetings with my label, gotta keep my state live. Righteous gon' strive with some legendary rhymes. You know the mic is mine with a necessary thrive. Rappers born here, I done seen legends.
Okay.
Yes.
You definitely see you're doing a lot of talk. I have always done the talk singing before the talk singing became the talk singing.
Well, thank you.
And now everybody's doing the talk singing. You was doing it before Drake.
Yes.
And so and you make it sound so good. But that was a good track. What was what project was that?
So that project was around the 2007.
Was it? Okay.
Oh yeah.
It just said it was up 3 months ago. I was like, oh, okay.
That was the first time that I released that track. I recorded that in 2007, 2008. And at the time, this was when I had kind of went away from the group. I was doing Apaul Soul. However, I started a totally different name. I started rapping under the name Jeffrey Manor, which is my neighborhood in Chicago. And the point behind that was I was about to start going into actual clubs performing under a different name, but I wanted to give them something totally different. I didn't want to give them churchy. I wanted to give them straight positive, no cussing, no this, great vibes, but I didn't want to do nothing crazy. So this was one of the tracks I did, just an Oklahoma City track. We put that together. She came in and dropped that verse in 20 minutes. She was in, out, done. And the hook for that song I originally wrote in Detroit in 97, 98 with my original members Showtime and Mark D.
That gives you the vibe though. But it still gives you that vibe like you rolling down the street, listening, on your way to the picnic. Right. Kind of barbecue type.
Exactly.
So I was like, so I was thinking it was from now. Since I seen it said like 3 months ago, I was like, oh, okay.
Right.
So that sounded really good. So
Thank you.
I appreciate you're so creative. Now, Six Family Media. Tell me about it.
Woo! So Six Family Media. We are here. I used to go under Mastermind ENT back in the days. I thought long and hard about coming back again, and Six Family Media was how it all came about. Some of it is real simple. 6 people in my family, me, my 4 brothers, my 3 brothers, my mom and dad, my in-house family. I've got another brother and sister as well, but it was 6 of us. 6 also is the number in the middle of the year. It's 12 months in a year. 6 is in the middle. 6 is the balance to me. So Six Family Media is going to be about balance. Six Family Media is going to be able to give you that good side of me, and also that other side of me, right? That I can present both sides to you. So yeah, you'll get these old Super Tropical songs. You'll get that Just a Good Day song. You'll get that. But then you're going to get that other side, the part that I haven't really told people about yet. The part where it got really messy. The part where it got really ugly. That's going to be coming out as well. But Six Family Media is really going to be about the positive energy and the negative energy, and the number 6 having a lot of meanings. Add the number 33 that Jesus died at. Add that 3 and 3 together, you get 6. That's all I'm saying. So there's a lot behind that.
So here's some more stuff he got going.
That's playing. I ain't saying I took her from him. I ain't saying I took her. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't saying she ain't choose neither. You feel me? She might have chose me. I'm just saying. I'm fooling with y'all. I'm fooling y'all. Kanye don't have your people coming at Pimp Eat 'em Up, all right? But anyway, some of y'all lost y'all ho-ho-hos, man. I could feel bad for you, but I won't. Because if you left her hanging out the drop, and I'm in my chariot driving by, I mean, I probably knocked you for it. Don't blame me, man.
Blame the pimp. Blame the pimp.
So let's tell us about Pimp Eat 'em Up and Eat 'em Up show.
Hey man, what you want to know? I mean, what you want to know about Pimp Eat 'em Up, the God of Eastville? I am the Eater Stars Rex all day long. Sir Easter, you can keep the throne. The God of Eastville, you might as well say that twice. Eastville, the God of Eastville. Pimp Eat 'em Up Pimp stands for perfecting in my process, under construction. I wanted to take something that people already didn't like me. I call Super Tropical the most hated name in Christian hip hop, right? So people didn't like me already. So when I came back, I knew I was going against the grain in every aspect, right? So I chose the word pimp, knowing one, everybody gonna sit there, blah, blah, blah. So what I did is I changed the dynamic of pimp. Pimp now stands for perfecting in my process. And what you're getting from the God of Eastville, or Pimp Eat 'em Up, is you're getting my story told from a totally different perspective, but the exact same story. Gotcha. Just to take it further, Jesus' story was told by Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Right. It was the exact same story told from 4 different perspectives, right? So if you really pay attention to what I'm doing and what I'm about to do, you're getting the same Apaul story from different perspectives. Gotcha. You're getting it from Pimp Eat 'em Up and what he saw and what he was doing. You're getting it from Apaul, from what he was thinking and what he was doing. And you're also getting it from Super Tropolis and how he's seen it. And what, you know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing from different perspectives. Stay tuned, because we're not talking about, you may think we're talking about women and all of that, but we're actually not. And I know how the whole thing ends, and I am totally mind blown with how I'm going to tell this story and where it's going to go and where it's going to end, blah, blah, blah. And I'll make the announcement right now. We just found out today that we got 5 more episodes of the Eat 'em Up show coming. 5 more episodes. So Six Family Media, Pick me up for episodes 6 through 10.
That's what's
So
up.
they're supposed to make that announcement tomorrow, but we're gonna do that live on Under Construction.
Congratulations! I need some hand claps.
Thank you.
Austin Bliss, you remember him? He said, "I still mean the regular meaning of when I say pimp."
You still producing, boy? I remember
No.
putting out them beats, man.
I be trying to get him to produce, but he ain't. He trying to retire.
Thank you, Chantel. 5 more episodes. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. That's what's up, yeah. Make sure you send those.
10 toes. I see you, Andrea Henry. I see that 10 toes right there.
I thought I had on here your mama song. I don't see it. Oh
Yeah.
no, the mama song you sent me. It's a remake of, well, I don't say remake, but it's over the.
It's a rendition.
Of the Tupac "Dear Mama."
Mm-hmm.
I thought I had it here to play, but I guess I did not. It must have went away when I added too many. My bad. Okay, well, you guys, y'all have to go to his. It's on your YouTube page,
That
right?
is correct.
Go to his YouTube page. It's called Mama, just Mama.
My Mama.
My Mama.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's right.
That's on the
Mama,
Super
Mama.
Tropolis Collection YouTube is where that one is.
That's not new.
No.
That's not.
No. And that's
It was new to me.
see, that's the thing. A lot
So
of
you putting out music that you've already done and just
yeah.
putting a different video visual.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
gotcha.
I'm reintroducing a lot of people to songs that either they didn't hear.
Okay, that's what Red
Yeah.
Frank was talking about. He said
Yeah.
you were doing it. Okay,
Uh-huh.
so yeah, when we were discussing that. Okay, so if you had to put some Oklahoma Christian hip hop artists in a Hall of Fame, who would you put there?
Oh, I think I'm gonna have to go to my notes on this one. I mean, I got an idea already, but
It would take
because I know I'm gonna make some of y'all mad. Some people gonna be mad. So, the Preachaholics, they're no longer doing Christian music at all, but Preachaholics all day long. I'm putting the Preachaholics in there. Exodus has to go in there.
Why?
I
totally disagree with that.
Now. I'll tell
Same
you why.
thing with Lecrae. That's what. Go ahead.
I'll tell you why.
I can't even hide that.
Now, anybody that know me or Super Tropolis, you know that Super Tropolis and the word Exodus kind of bump heads. That was kind of a rival for us in Christian.
Why?
Yeah,
How?
it was a rival. However, it ended up being the case. Shout out to all y'all cats, but yeah, it was a rival.
Shout out the way.
But the only reason I say
we talking about lyrics, that we're not talking about personalities or nothing like that. We're talking about lyrics. We're talking about the production of the music, the sound, their performance. I want who in the Hall of Fame. Don't be trying to be nice because whoever they was whack. Go to the next.
I've got MC1. I've got JB. And again, when she asked me the question, my thought was just off of
just hip hop. You just doing just hip hop,
Yeah,
not hip hop Christian. Let's just do hip hop.
So hip hop, just hip hop. And you said Hall of Fame?
Hall of Fame Christian. Now we gonna go back to the Christian. I'm gonna let you do that.
You sure? So, and it has to be
Because you ain't even named who I thought.
Is it Oklahoma City though?
Oklahoma City. You can do because it's not really too many in Oklahoma City that would be called a Hall of Fame rappers. So
well, right.
yeah, so you can do just hit because I mean Soul Will is like the one I would think off the top of my head.
You talking about from MOL?
Yeah, he was in MOL.
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
Soul Will was the
Soul Williams.
yes.
Oh, Soul Williams is dope.
Yes, he dope.
Yeah.
Every time, I always thought his flow, his lyrics, his performance wise.
Nothing against the rest of y'all, but he's the best rapper in the group to me.
He
no ifs, ands, or buts.
no ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah,
that
hands
was
down.
that was it. And then for me, Red Print,
Of course.
because his lyrics again,
Oh,
and
yeah,
he
he's
had
lyrical.
a different sound to his.
Of course.
And the bro sitting right next to me. His harmonies is always what get me, and the way you arrange your things, I would say. But that's it. I didn't like really anybody else. I tolerated and had to listen to it.
I tolerated some of y'all too. A lot of y'all. I don't listen to most of y'all.
tolerated it, but I didn't. I would be waiting for like Sean Johnson and Cam. But you know who I would say? Rob. Rob Clay. I always liked his rapping, but I put him in the more the singing than the rapping.
Yeah.
As I would, but to be honest with you, his wife is doper than all everybody I just named.
Yeah,
So,
she's
because with B. Rashay go hard, you know, her rapping to me, I like her rapping more than her singing. So you can just, you know, I like it, and so her flow is just crazy.
No doubt.
But yeah, I didn't really care for. I had to, like I said, I tolerated it, but I didn't want a cheesy sound. You know, to me, they were like more cheap. My kids loved them. Like I would have to take my kids to see Exodus and see MOL and all that.
And vocab. I
had to go sit through all that. But when the people that I would get ready for, if Rob was on the mic, if he started rapping, it was gonna be fire. If you was coming in, y'all was always just hype. I like more of the hypeness and the energy, and so Will just got to deliver a verse. Whether he wrote it or not, I don't know. I don't care. And Rosie, which is my cousin, but I put him more in the singing category. But the brother can deliver a verse too.
Indeed.
So, but nah, everybody who was loving all them other ones, I would just be like, why? I don't get it. I understood why they stayed in Oklahoma. Yeah. You know,
real deal.
But you, on the other hand, you just decided to walk away from it. That's totally different than you just not making it anywhere.
Right.
Of course, I probably lose a lot of friends after that, but it's cool.
It is.
They know, everybody know me. I'm pretty upfront.
And the truth will set you free.
And they're not doing it anymore anyway.
This is true.
Thank God. What lessons have you learned along the way in your creative journey?
What have I learned? All right, don't take this the wrong way. I learned that love means nothing and loyalty means everything.
Explain.
Everybody love you. Somebody you ain't talked to in 10 years, they gonna get on your Facebook, y'all gonna have a conversation, they gonna end it with, I love you.
Yeah.
People don't care. The word love is nothing to people. Some people, not all. You really want a person that's loyal to you.
That's right.
If a person is not loyal to you, do you want them to love you?
Mm-hmm.
I don't need nobody that's unloyal to me.
Right.
I don't need, if you're unloyal to me, I don't need you to be to love me. I prefer for you to be loyal because loyal covers all of it. So I had to learn that everybody that was saying, I love you, Apaul, I love you, Apaul, family members told me I love you. But when I had that motorcycle wreck, wasn't nobody there. Okay. Everybody loved me, but at the pinnacle of Super Metropolis in 2006, when my mom passed, right after I released that My Mama song and she died, I was calling Christian artists that didn't want to even have a conversation with me. A lot of people, I was evicted out of my apartment a month after my mom passed. I was still at concerts.
Wow.
I was getting booked for shows that summer, Sherman, and I had no place to go. I was the COO, vice president of a record label, doing shows on the street. So love don't mean nothing. Loyalty means everything. That's what I had to learn.
If you had to create a Christian hip hop supergroup similar to Wu-Tang, who would you put in the group?
Okay, so there you go.
There we go.
There you go.
Ain't got many. You can use who you need to use.
All right, so man,
Montana, you got some.
Man. Right off the top, I'm going with my guy Montana. You know what I'm saying? Montana just brings something. Being a white guy, he brings something totally different to the table.
Right.
I love what he brings to the table. You got from MOL, I'm rolling with him too. Soul Williams, I'm rolling with him. I've always been a fan of soul, so I'm rocking with him. JB is, I like JB, but I don't think I put him in that group. Man, it had to be again Beam from the Preacherholics. That dude, I forgot Skitty Red from the Preacherholics. Them two definitely. Vocab from the group Exodus was their dopest rapper. He was a lyricist, a barman, so he's going
Is
in.
that the one that
That's the one that passed.
away?
Yeah. He was sick on the bars. Red Prince always been a dope MC, dope rapper. Deserves way more credit than he's ever gotten. Period. Point blank. And then let me think from any other group. MC1, he just because he's a name in the city, people come out to see something like that. But man, it's not really a whole lot of cats that I would listen to. Because if I was, I'd be listening to their music today. And I don't.
Yeah. So, I got you.
Not a whole lot of cats.
Austin said the church is a cold place. I don't know where he's saying that from. We might have been talking about something.
Right.
He might be talking about us. We cold. Okay. So what's next for you?
What's next? I am looking forward to. I'm looking more to
1 minute.
I'm looking for the media side. What's coming next? The film. I like films. I'm currently working on a documentary to tell the Super Tropical story. So expect that to come. More from Pimp Eat 'em Up. Again, we got more episodes. I've got seasons of that coming. And then I plan on finishing my career with an album that's going to be titled The Greatest Hip Hop Story Ever Told.
Oh, that sounds. Let me know. Let me know.
And in that album, I will share for the very first time something that I haven't talked about with any family member, friend, and it's a story about Tupac that I've never shared.
Okay.
That I'm going to share in that, and it's going to tell a whole lot about my life, things I've done, people that I even dated based on something that happened with Tupac.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is the last part of the show. First, we do no. It's called No Judgment Zone.
Uh-oh.
So it's just some questions I ask. You pick one of the two, and nobody's judging you for it. Okay.
Let's do it.
If y'all want to join in, y'all can type in what y'all would say. Also,
type it on in.
Quick questions: butter and sugar, or salt and pepper on grits?
Oh, butter and sugar.
Foxy Brown, Little Kim, or Queen Latifah and MC Light?
Ooh, Lil' Kim and Foxy. I'm sorry, Lil' Kim and Foxy. Lil' Kim and Foxy.
I have to think about The Wire or Snowfall.
The Wire.
Dang, The Wire keep winning. In terms of dates, are you a wine and dine or picnic in the park type dater?
I do them both.
He's married, y'all, so just to let y'all know, he's still married.
I'm a wine and dine first, but I do both. I do picnics at the park, and I do the wine and dine, and I do them both. So I like
Black Panther or The Color Purple?
Black Panther.
Really?
Just because I like to deal in the supernatural. Supertropolis, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So obviously I'm a superhero type of guy, right? I've seen like every superhero
Tap in with
movie.
my boy PK. He said type in. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. R.
Supposed to say, yeah, vocab. Shout out vocab. Yep.
Yes, I've heard his name throughout the years. I don't think I saw Exodus when he was alive. I don't think I saw them until after he passed. When did he pass?
He passed in about 03, 04, something like that.
I didn't see them until after. Yes, I never experienced.
Yeah, he was a whole nother he was a rapper. He was a straight hip hop beast, battle rapper.
So that's who they were missing.
He was their man. Yeah, and then
that
after
makes sense. So they just try to keep going.
The cadence kind of stepped in.
Why?
Yeah.
I just stopped saying that. Stop saying that.
All right.
Stop saying that. Okay. Okay. Well, God, Apaul, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming, because I know you will crawl up under your little rock and go on about your business. But guys, go ahead and support him. This is one of the most creative brothers that decided to stay and live in Oklahoma City. I forgot you was from Chi-Town.
Yeah.
I forgot you was from Obama's spot. And Michael Jordan's spot. So it's good people. Okay, so y'all hit him up. All of his information is at the bottom. And guys, tune in next week, same time, 7 p.m. It's going to be Father's Day coming up. I do have some guest men coming up for the full month of June. It'll be all men. So ladies, Well, they're all married. No worries. But y'all can still come and be a part of the show and listen to what these men have to say about fatherhood. All right. You guys have a wonderful evening. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We out.